Here's an interesting thought. You should not listen or watch anyone unless they're 100 times your net worth, or they're earning yearly 100 times the amount that you're earning. Now, this is something that I literally just discovered. I was like listening to Alex Hormozi, who's doing like, you know, $100 million per year. And I was getting so many golden nuggets. I was like leveling up my business at such a fast rate. From all this time, I thought, okay, if I want to learn and improve at a really fast rate, I should just listen to the best people. I should just listen to Jeff Bezos interviews, Bill Gates interviews, Elon Musk interviews, Larry Ellison's interviews. But those guys are literally, if they're doing 100 billion, they're like so far apart where the things they're saying, I can't really understand to the T. Now, I've also listened to people who are doing, you know, $1 million a year, $10 million, $5 million a year, these young entrepreneurs. But the thing is, like, if they're only 10 times more richer than me, we are stuck in the same bucket. The metaphor I use would be like crabs in a bucket. Everyone's doing the same thing, everyone's trying to get out of the bucket, and everyone's struggling. So you can't get tips from someone who's slightly above in the bucket because they're getting crawled down by everyone else. You need to learn and then see what people are doing in larger buckets, how they escape this bucket to the other one. So unless they're able to escape this sort of threshold, this echelon, then they cannot be giving you advice. Or what I should say is, when you're listening to them, the advice they're giving you is basically the same thing you're doing anyways. You need to be listening to people who have another paradigm shift, because when you go from 1 to 10 to 100 million, these are sort of mini paradigm shifts. So the sweet spot is 100 times your net worth or 100 times your earning. That's where you're going to get the most value. Any more, the value is going to not make sense. For example, when I listen to Gary Vee, who's doing like $400 million a year, I actually don't get that much value because he's just too far from me. I don't really understand it. He talks about sort of empathy towards his employees, talking about being candid, and like, I sort of do understand these things because I do have like 25 employees, but he's sort of on a different level where his things he says are not going to be able to relate with me. And that's sort of why I learned a lot from Sam Ovens, who does like 30 million, 40 million, 80 million a year. I'm not too sure where Sam Ovens is at, but I learned a lot from Sam Ovens. Now the hard part is like, how do you figure out the net worth of these individuals? So I guess one way is the ones you want to listen to, the ones that are transparent. So for example, I'm doing $500,000 a year, and we're on track to do $1 million a year. So you guys know where I'm at. Technically with this formula, you should only be listening to me if you're only making $5,000 a year. But I do feel like I am undervalued. I feel like I've been sort of stuck at this sort of $500,000 mark for a while now, and I'm like really close to this breakthrough, which is going to just let me jump to like $5 million a year. But that's another story. You sort of just figure it out. Like for example, as I'm thinking, I think of people like Damon John, one of Sharks. I'm pretty sure he's worth like 100 or 200 million, and that's something in my range, and I would be able to understand. Probably still a bit too far off, because I think he's doing like maybe 300 million a year, and the stuff like he's just big, and I wouldn't be able to like really absorb that type of info. But just knowing the formula of 100x really helps you figure out who you should listen to. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it added a lot of clarity in your life. And yeah, I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow with nothing but more value. Peace.